The jury deliberated, and now a teenager charged with the murder of a USC grad student is found guilty.
The 18-year-old was the first of 4 defendants on trial for the murder of Xinran Ji. See It Live is next. And Alejandro Guerrero now faces a possible life sentence for the murder of the SC grad student. Good evening, I'm Tiffany Brevard.
And I'm Tommy Brooksbank. Let's go live to Annenberg Media's Madison Wheel, who was in the downtown LA courtroom for the verdict. Madison.
It was a very anxious and intense atmosphere all day today here at the courthouse as everybody awaited a verdict to be made for Alejandro Guerrero. The jury deliberated all day yesterday, and for a good amount of today, they came in just a little bit after 2:30 p.m. with their decision. They found her guilty of not only first-degree murder, but also second-degree robbery, second-degree attempted robbery, and assault with a deadly weapon. It was a unanimous 12-0 vote for the jury. Although we did not get a chance to speak to Ji's family today, we did get to speak to Rose Tsai, who is the attorney for the family, and she let us know that she did have a chance to speak to the family, let them know the decision. It was a good decision for them, and she also let us know that she does feel like justice was served here today.
It has taken a bit more than 2 years, and we understand that this is the criminal procedure that our U.S. government and our U.S. people are proud of and adhere by. So they also understand. They try their best to endure the pain and suffering for more than 2 years.
Joining me now is Rachel Ramos, another reporter who was on the scene here today all day and heard the verdict read. Can you tell me a little bit, Rachel, about what was that moment like and what you observed when the verdict was read?
Yes, I thought the whole trial went by very quickly. The jury came in today around 11 a.m., deliberated for a few hours, and then reached a verdict around 2:30 p.m., which was a unanimous vote of 12-0. And after that, Guerrero kind of seemed to be hiding her face, not really wanting to be seen by the media, and quickly left the room. We also tried to reach out to the defense attorney, but he declined to comment. Was there anything that stood out to you in particular today, Maddie?
You know, I would say the lack of emotion and lack of response was particularly surprising. This is a huge decision for Alejandro Guerrero, that she faces up to life in prison, although she does not face the death penalty. The fact that there really was no emotional response from her or really anyone in the courtroom when that decision was made was particularly shocking and surprising, I thought. Her sentencing hearing is set for November 28th. For Annenberg Media, I'm Madison Weil.
And I'm Rachel Ramos.
Back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Madison. Xinran Ji was a 24-year-old grad student from China. Surveillance video shows Ji walking home the night of July 24th, 2014. He was attacked just before 1 a.m. with a baseball bat and a wrench. 4 people were later identified and arrested in connection with Ji's murder. Ji was attacked less than a mile off campus on 30th Street. He managed to make it back to his apartment on the 4th floor after the attack. He was later found dead by one of his roommates. And today, students in the area say they don't feel like their safety is in jeopardy.
I always feel safe. There's always like the security officers on every corner, and I've never really felt unsafe. I think that anywhere you are, you always are looking over your shoulder. It's just kind of something that you learn growing up, but I don't feel like I need to look around any more here than I do at home.
I'm most concerned of the homeless people and some drinking people. I'm afraid to meet them on the street. And for otherwise, I feel safety, yeah.
Usually there's security guards on each corner, so I typically feel safe. I mean, if it's late at night, like, I would feel uncomfortable walking anywhere.
Even if I came back home from school at night, I can choose to take a school bus or I can take a Uber or campus cruiser. So I think it's safe for me, yeah.
Students also say they feel safe because of a boost in security, but some students don't know is the security increase was a result of the Ji case.
Guerrero's verdict comes after months of hearings and deliberations intended to ensure she received a fair trial. Guerrero's initial status hearing began on August 12, 2014. She pled not guilty to all charges brought against her, and the court ordered Guerrero to be held in state custody without bail. More than 150 USC students attended the proceedings. 6 months later, evidence against Guerrero was officially shown in her preliminary hearing. The jury saw the first video of the attack, as well as graphic images of Ji's apartment. Guerrero's arraignment hearing then took place in May. She was formally charged with first-degree murder, assault with a deadly weapon, and robbery. Guerrero maintained her innocence and pled not guilty on all accounts. The case finally went to trial on September 30th, where the prosecution introduced its case against Guerrero. Today, after less than 2 days of deliberation, the jury came to their decision. Now, Guerrero's defense attorney said in court that she did not intend to kill Ji. He also said the evidence did not support the charge against Guerrero for first-degree murder. The prosecution, however, argued that Facebook messages show she was possibly the leader of the attack.
Not alleging that Ms. Guerrero had the intent to kill. So then you look at the or. With reckless indifference to human life and as a major participant, aided and abetted the crime of robbery, which resulted in death. That is our position.
Guerrero's attorney declined to comment about the case to Annenberg Media. Right now, we go to Brad Stryker, who has a special guest here in the studio. Brad?
That's right. Thank you, Tommy. And joining me today is Tony Gao, the president of the USC Chinese Students and Scholars Assembly. Tony, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so the first question that I want to ask you, what do you think about the verdict today? Alejandra Guerrero charged with guilty of first-degree murder.
I mean, we've been waiting for this result for 2 years already, and a lot of rumor has said this should be the hardest decision that the court has to make, because Guerrero is one of the youngest people in the four groups, and also she's still a teenager, and especially she has a family member and all the other reasons. So it might be really easy for her to get the compassions, compassions from the others. But the result today exactly shows that the court actually gives the right judgment. And this means a lot to us, to the Chinese students, though. Yes.
And that's my next question, is talk to me a little bit about the impact that this verdict is having on the Chinese community, both here at USC as well as in China.
Yes, so during the event was happening, I was actually in China for a summer break, and after we heard this news, we were really thrilled, because the place is actually really close to City Park, and all the people was wondering what really happened within the campus, whether the student safety is really a big concern here. And we have a lot of rumors, a lot of media press reporting the wrong informations. So a lot of parents are really worried about the campus safety, and also it actually affected the students who want to apply for the USC for the next year. So the reputation and the whole image of USC is really disrupted because of this event. So we were really we want to know the result, and we really want to know what really happening with this case, and what the school should do in the future to protect the Chinese student body group. Yes.
And I know that after this tragedy, the university's Department of Public Safety partnered with you guys to hear more from you and increase communication with you regarding your own feelings of safety on campus. Talk to me a little bit about what that communication and what that partnership looks like.
Yes, so actually the DPS in the USC, they already did a lot of work in the past to protect the students' safeties. But the thing is, the message in the past, they won't reach to students in the correct channels or correct ways. So with our help, the school actually created their own platform over the WeChat, which is one of the largest communication platform for Chinese students. So after we set up that account, we actually spread all the safety news or concerns for the students from the DPS, and we actually help DPS to hold events to actually hear from the students what's their concerns and how the school should actually help them, or how the school should probably increase more stuffs at each corners, or probably contribute to the whole environment to make it more safety though.
And now that DPS has been working with you guys, how do you feel as far as safety goes on campus? Do you feel safer now?
Yes, it's they actually did a lot of work. For example, the free Ubers and the stuff at the CPC stuff at each corners. So within the specific like radius, we feel like really safety, and we actually realize the school actually like did a lot of work, and we believe the school will continue to contribute a lot more in the future. Yes, that's how I thought. Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. Once again, Tony Gao from the USC Chinese Students and Scholars Assembly. I thank you again for coming. This has been a long-awaited decision that the USC community has been waiting for. So very excited that we now have a little bit of a conclusion to that verdict, and also glad to hear that your community is feeling a little safer as well. I'll go ahead and send it back to Tommy.
All right, thanks, Brad. Historically, USC ranks as one of the top schools in the country for its number of international students. There are more than 10,000 international students in all of USC this fall. China is the most represented international country at USC, with nearly 5,000 students this year. Next up is India with about 2,000 students. The third most is South Korea with nearly 600 students at USC.
And I spoke with Deputy Public Defender Houman Kazemi to get his thoughts on today's verdict and if this case will set the tone for the trials for the other 3 suspects.
The fact that she was convicted will not have an impact on those other cases as far as the legal process is concerned. Of course, as far as the media is concerned, it will be reported, I'm sure, widely that she was found guilty today, and I believe the special circumstance was found true as well. So there will be a perceptual difference, I think, but from the legal standpoint, there will not be a difference.
And Alejandra Guerrero is not eligible for the death penalty since she was only 16 at the time of the crime. Now, thanks for watching See It Live from everyone at Annenberg Media. I'm Tiffany Brevard.
And I'm Tommy Brooksbank. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Stay tuned for The Current.
And you know, Tommy, even though this crime happened 2 years ago, I'm definitely downloading that Live Safe app. And, maybe I should use my street smarts.
Yeah, definitely.